Hey guys, I'm back, and it's been probably a couple more months since I filmed the first part of this video. It is March the 3rd today, and still winter, but it's just about over now. All the snow is melted here, so thank goodness for that. So I haven't touched the troll for a while, of course, because I got to the part where I had to actually paint it, so that's when things slow down drastically for me. So hopefully my next video I'll come back with that model 100% finished. But in the meantime, I've been busy with other projects. Andrew Brock and Garrett Pogson and myself are going to be running a tournament later this year. We've moved it to November just because we simply weren't going to be ready in time. We did have it scheduled for May, and we have a lot of work to do for that event. So fortunately, Derek Satnick was able to take our slot in May, and we traded his slot in November, and that should give us plenty of time. But we've got quite a few boards of terrain to make, tons of custom missions to design, and I'm trying to do 2 of the boards myself, and one of them I've got here. I've been working on it for probably, I don't know, a couple of months, but you know, it's a few hours here and a few hours there when I can get to it. I'll show you the pieces, but basically this is the stage I'm at right now. I'll give you a bit of a close-up, but it's a Goblin Town board. Seen a couple of really amazing Goblin Town boards. I know Devin has one for Nova, which is absolutely incredible, and OHA George has made one here, fairly local here, and it is amazing as well. Both those are really detailed boards, and the one I'm trying to make is not going to be nearly that detailed, but hopefully it's going to be well, it's designed for tournament play, so it's going to be for a custom mission, but this board is designed to be, it's a modular board that's going to be laid out on a 4x4 table. So I've got a bunch of those like big rocky pieces, and those are made from your 1-inch polystyrene insulation. And I've got a couple of tools. I didn't film any of the crafting at the beginning of this part, but I've got this electric wire cutter. I used to have an old battery operated one, but this one beats it all to hell. This is an amazing tool. It makes life so much easier without having to worry about batteries running out. That's an excellent tool. And I also have this, which I guess you would call a hot knife. So it's got like a much thicker wire on it here. This one I don't like as much for actually just cutting foam, because when you cut the foam with this tool, it ends up trailing like spider webs of melted foam all the time. So it's not nearly as good as the hot wire cutter for that, in my opinion. But the advantage of this one is that you can actually push it into the foam this way. So you can do a little bit more. It opens up some options for carving, which is quite good. Anyway, I've got 4 large pieces built here, and I've applied several layers of gravel, which I'll show you in a second, and I've painted them black, given them probably 2 coats of black paint, which is just a latex acrylic based paint that I got at, you know, a hardware store that was on sale type thing. And I've just ended up getting a couple of shades of gray and these little craft paints, and here in Canada Michael's is the go-to place for terrain supplies, so that's where I got these as well. And these are like, you know, $2.20 or something, and they're great for doing terrain because obviously you're going to use a fair amount of paint. Anyway, I'll take the camera off the tripod now, and I'll show you these pieces closer up. So here's the pieces here. So this is the one I held up earlier. It's one of two sort of smaller pieces. And you can see, obviously there's, I think 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5 layers of 1-inch foam. And I've done my best with the hot knife to, you know, chop it up so it looks fairly rocky. And then what I've done is, like, on the flat surfaces here, I've applied sort of a fine gravel, glued it down with PVA, and then sort of in the sort of the crevices here, I've glued in sort of a more larger, coarser gravel here. So I've just got the two sort of weights of gravel on there, and again, it was painted black. Here's the big one here. So this has been painted black. I actually did dry brush this with sort of a, tried to gray down the black a little bit, but you can't even tell that it's got a dry brush on it. That's why I went and I picked up these craft paints, because they, you know, I picked up a black one too, but they have 2 shades of gray and a black, so those were a lot lighter. So I've got that one, and then I've got another similar one over there, which are the 2 smaller ones. And then I've got one, back out a bit here, I've got one larger one. I mean, I should have a miniature here, but I don't. The base of this paint is, I don't know, it's a little bit larger than a miniature base, so that sort of gives you a bit of the scale. So that one, and then I've got this great big one here, which this one here is probably, I don't know, just under 2 feet square. And this one here, you can see that giant flat top. That's where I'm going. I've glued together 4 of the Goblin Town platforms to make one giant rectangular platform that's going to cover this thing here. And then the Goblin King's throne is going to sit back in there against that. So like that would easily break off if I didn't have that there. But so the Goblin King's throne is going to be there. And I actually screwed up a little bit when I was making this, because I put the throne in there, and this is sized perfectly for it. But then I forgot that there's going to be the plastic what do you call it, gangway on here, and so it raises it up a bit. So the throne is going to stick up a bit here, so I'm going to have to get creative there and do something about that. Maybe I'll go grab that. But these 2, I've done the first, or these 3 rather, I've done the first of the darker gray dry brush. And I actually also picked up this brush here for a couple bucks. And this is used for, I believe it's like a stenciling brush, so it's intended to use this, but it's cheap, it's big, and it's perfect for dry brushing as well. Now I'm going to just do a dry brush on this guy here. So like you can see what it looks like there now, and I'll just do a bit and come back in a second. Okay, so I've just quickly dry brushed the first darker gray onto that. So that's now been dry brushed. And you see this area over here has not been dry brushed, nor has this area at the bottom. So, you know, literally takes a few seconds to do that. And I brought this upstairs as well. So this is the platform I'm gonna have going on here. So it's gonna be a big monster platform like that. And then I hope to build in a whole bunch of like supports coming down here, sort of putting that in place, and bring the miniature up here, gives you the scale. So it's good old Legolas. Yeah, so I'll see if I can, maybe I can put this on the tripod and just show a quick bit of dry brushing as well. I'm gonna just do a bit of dry brushing here. So I'm just gonna actually put a few drops of this paint down, because this great big brush swallows that up really quick. Just get most of the paint off. And then this part here, just dry brush quickly here. I mean, it doesn't take much, it's pretty fast. Get a bit more paint. Hope my shoulder's not in the way. The first few shots, maybe there's a little bit too much paint, so let's just do it lightly and get some paint off. And then as you go, you have to push it a little bit harder the longer you go, as you start to use the paint up. But you get the idea. I mean, this doesn't take, I'll dry brush this entire thing in probably like 20 minutes. So that's that. I'll come back when I get that finished. So I've got the first layer of dry brushing of the gray on. I've tried to lay this out. This table is not 4 feet wide, so stuff is hanging over the edge here. But this is kind of the layout I'm going. There's going to be one large rocky outcropping there, and I've made a bridge out of these were just like hobby sticks or whatever. It's not even balsa wood, this stuff. I've just got this sat on there, so I just made that up, and I'll have to figure out a way to sort of secure that. And then you got the big rocky outcropping there with the Goblin King's giant platform on, and then the two smaller ones to the side. So I will have walkways going across from there and there. So the only way to get to that platform is going to be from those 3 walkways. These things here, so I made them so that you wouldn't actually have to do climb tests really, because there will be walkways like leading onto here, and then these are 1/2-inch steps here, so models shouldn't need to take climbs test. This one here, I'm gonna have like, is it that one? No, it's the other one. So you can come up here and then you'll be able to cross across here. I did that because I didn't want to have climb tests being done everywhere, and this tool here was, it's this one. This tool here was great for that because I could actually cut like a 1/2 inch off of that 1 inch thick polystyrene like this. Just sort of take out a chunk there, so that worked out good. But yeah, so this is the layout that I'll be going with. And then of course all of the plastic walkways are going to be down on the lower level connecting, like there'll be connections made from the smaller platforms onto this surface here. So like you won't be playing on this surface, so that's why this surface is kind of large, because that's going to be actually part of the gaming area, and then that big spot there. But anyway, I have around 2 hours left before I have to pick up my wife, and I got to get the other layer of dry brushing on all of this and then get it off the kitchen table, because my poor wife has had to have this on the table for so long. I took it off there a couple weeks ago, but I don't dare leave it back on here anymore. So that's it for this. I will come back after I put the last layer of dry brush on, and we'll see what it looks like. So there's the highlight of the lighter color gray, and these are again the 3. So this is the last color. These are Deco Art Americana, and this is slate gray, and this is neutral gray. So just putting on the slate gray makes a great highlighter. Kind of focusing on the gravel and like the small gravel and this larger gravel, but putting on some here as well. Still haven't actually done the back bit yet, but anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Please come out and attend our events. We've got Council of the Wise on April 28th. That's by Derek Satnick. And support the OHA as well, March 16th to 18th at Hot Lead. They've got the War of the Ring. The tournament's already sold out, but they're also running other games on the Saturday night. And I think they're doing a full participation game on the Sunday. And I know George has made up some great terrain, and so has Jason. So that'll be really good. And support Blackfyre Productions as well. Both Blackfyre and OHA both have YouTube channels and Facebook sites as well. And just remember, the most important thing is to get your toy soldiers out and to come and play some games with us at the OSBGL, the Ontario Strategy Battle Game League, and any other Hobbit Lord of the Rings group you may have around. Okay guys, see you next video. Thanks. Bye.